important bracket.
Welcome to the Ultra Cycling Magazine Show.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ultra Cycling Magazine Show. The show all about ultra cycling, bicycles in general, just a great show altogether. Hey, Lee, how's it going today?
I'm doing good, and we want to welcome Joanna down there
Yeah,
in.
definitely. Thank you, Joanna. Let me unmute you real quick so you can speak. She's at the Benny's Bike Shop, so you have a little background noise. So
Betty's Bike Shop, one of the official bike shops of the Ultra Cycling Magazine.
yes,
And so we're glad to have Betty offer us this opportunity to be there
definitely.
today.
Lots of people popping in on a Monday morning, having had big adventures at the weekend because we've got good weather. So it's great adventure.
Well,
bike
if you
packing
see anybody that's interesting, grab them. We'll talk to them.
We'll
Okay.
throw them on here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're here because of all the wonderful people who run the time stations here in Ohio for the Race Across America. Time station 41 in Oxford, 42 in Blanchester, and 43 in Chillicothe. And Joanna has got something to tell us too.
Okay, signs are up right now. You want me to go ahead and bring,
No.
Mike Minium.
Forgot about the signs. Yeah.
Sign guy. We put signs across the route in Ohio from the beginning of Ohio to past Chillicothe, and we really appreciate Mike for doing all that hard work. If you want to donate to have a sign replaced, you can go to the links on our show notes, and you can find information about that correctly.
Right. Actually, it's on the upper right-hand side of the website when you go to
Okay.
UCM.bike
Yep.
and find more information about that.
Okay, so now we'll give Joanna her limelight moment. So here you go, Joanna.
Hey guys, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. And whilst you're there, don't forget to ring that bell.
Excellent. Thank you, Joanna. Great job. Oh, we're a little bit behind. I don't know why that is. Was that you, Lee?
I don't know. That guy ringing the bell, he's messed up again.
Oh, that's okay. No worries at all. Next on our little agenda here, we're going to do a little update on Race Across the East. I'm sorry. And I'm trying a little something different here, so let me go ahead and fire that up.
Race Across the East updates for March 10th, 2024. This route is 628 miles long and follows the Race Across America route, starting in Blanchester, Ohio and finishing in Atlantic City. Blanchester High School would be the home to the start of the race as well as the new home for Time Station 43. This year we currently have 5 two-person teams entered. 2 from the United States, 1 from Brazil, and 2 unknown. This year we currently have 1 four-person teams entered. They are the United States, We currently have 14 solo racers entered. 4 from the United States, 2 from Brazil, 1 from Great Britain, 1 from Slovenia, and 6 unknown. Registration is still open until March 15th. Go to the Race Across the East website for more information and to register.
Oh, we're playing a little bit with AI to reduce my workload, so that worked kind of okay.
Oh, well, we are a work in progress, Jim.
There you go. Let me go ahead. If you're out there watching, which I see a few of you are, please post your comments or questions for our guests on YouTube or Facebook, and we will get them up. And if you don't have a question or comment, just let us know where you're watching from, please.
Yeah, please let us know where you're at.
I'm intrigued to know where everyone's from.
Yeah, yep. I think that's great.
And our first comment, hey, it's our voice of the Ultra Cycling Magazine show, Gregory.
Hey.
Thank you, Gregory.
Thanks, Gregory. Gregory and I had a little exchange earlier today about something, and he has a great humor, I'll tell you. Anyway, Calvin's Challenge, we've picked up a couple more. There's 14 there now, and I didn't know this until the other day, Jim. It is a RAM. The 24 hours a RAM qualifier.
That is awesome. We need more of those out there. That would be a great thing.
So that registration is still open. All these items we're mentioning are on the show notes, links to them at the show notes for this show, ucm.bike. So that's working well. Jim, any update on Sebring?
No updates on Sebring. We'll be there with bells on the tandem with any luck, and we'll be doing some live video from there on the bike as well as in the paddock and talking to people and just enjoying a good time. So it looks to be a good race out there. And then I want to mention
multitasking there, Jim. You can't be riding a tandem as well as using a video as well as reporting, surely.
Yep, I've got it all mounted on the bike, ready to go. So it does it for me. So it's a nice thing. Also want to mention our Coal Country Roubaix that's coming up April 27th. Ultra Cycling Magazine will be there to, again, broadcast from there and talk to people. And I know that Joe and Heather just have put the jerseys up for sale on the website and the Bike Reg website. So go out there and get you a nice jersey. And
they are now up to 57 registered.
Yes.
So that looks good. It looks like the 100K is going to be the big event, Jim.
Definitely.
Largest group of people are registering for there.
Yep.
Well, Jim, Grinshina Kartik sent us a little sizzle reel from Thailand from the brevet she did there. So let's run that.
Let's see if I can find Grinny.
So
Excellent.
that was the brevet there in Thailand, 2,024 miles. I assume that in 4
Mhm.
years it'll be 2028. Joanna,
I
you
think
better
it's
get.
kilometers, though. To be fair,
Yeah, I should say.
not meaning to be too
No,
corrective of
please
the
correct me
met
because I am a great advocate
imperials.
of us moving to the metric here.
Yep.
But I stumble back in my old
It's a
ungodly
long way,
ways
though.
sometimes.
Mhm.
It looked fabulous, though, didn't it, guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
Joanna, you need to get up there in 2028 and do that.
You know, I was actually just sitting here whilst we were watching the video. I was saying to Benny and Dom, who I'm trying to crack the whip because it's their work day. They're building back here.
Get those
And I was
bikes
saying
ready
to them
for
how
you.
awesome it would be to go to Thailand and do that brevet. Doesn't it look amazing?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and she showed the beautiful dig she had there too. That was quite
Mhm.
nice. Yeah. And so next week, we're going to bring Martin Grubela back to the show. Martin is a scientist, chemist there at the University of Illinois, and he is applies his approach to ultracycling from his scientific background, and it's always good to have Martin on the show. I was going to show one of his books here, but I thought it was laying right behind me, but it isn't.
Mhm.
And he has a new book out. It's more geared toward some of the ultra events. He'll be talking about those. So,
Ooh, can't wait to hear that.
well, come and join us, Joanna. You're getting to be
I'm
a
always keen for new tips and tricks that are going to help any of us get through ultra and
There you
Yeah.
go.
events. And I've got my own 4,600 coming up. So I'm going to be really keen to hear what he's got to say and how he's using
Yeah.
science to help improve performance in sport.
Definitely. Excellent.
We've waited way too long
All right.
to get our
Let's go ahead
guests
and
on
bring
here.
our honored guests in. We've got Harry and Matthew
Hey guys, how you doing?
here.
All hail to these guys. It's incredible what you've done. I would
Definitely.
be bowing if we
Thank you,
were
guys.
in person.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
So,
Appreciate
Harry
it.
and Matthew, where are you guys from?
So we're both from Southampton, so the southern part of the UK.
Mhm.
Sort of, I was born up in Scotland, but I came down here quite a young age, and I believe Harry's been here since a little child as well. So we've sort of grown up in the Southampton area.
Excellent. And I know, Matthew, you recently circled Scotland. Was that correct?
Yes. Harry was in the car. He was driving and supporting.
Okay.
And it was also his idea to do it. He's the one who sent me the message, and I was foolish enough to actually take him up on it.
Harry, that was pretty
You are
smart,
a
riding in the
legend.
car, and making him do all the pedaling, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot easier just pushing a
There
pedal
you
for
go.
20 hours.
Yeah. So So it was back in September that we did it. So it does feel quite a while ago, but yeah, it was still quite fond.
Excellent.
Before we get to the VIA race,
Mhm.
I think I saw a mention just in brief that you guys are thinking about trying to settle a jog record.
Yes, yeah. So that's potentially 2025. If not, if we can find space in 2025, depends on sort of like goals and stuff like that. But yeah, Land's Edge John Groats is a record that I'd like to go for personally.
Yeah, I think it just requires another level up of organisation and planning that we got away with kind of winging NC 500 quite a bit, but I feel like we'd get caught out quite in a big way if we tried that really long
Glad to
distance.
see Jane in here. I hadn't seen her
Yep.
for quite a while. I know
Definitely.
she's been around. She just hadn't shown up. Okay.
In the comments, definitely.
Okay.
Matthew, Harry, what's your cycling background? How did you get into this crazy sport?
After you,
Well,
Harry?
we both kind of started with the with road racing. I think we both started in our kind of late teens,
Mhm.
and it was just that for a while. I only really got into anything else probably like a year and a half or so ago. So yeah, that's what I was doing, really, just kind of training,
Okay.
racing in junior. I was out in France racing amateur kind of road racing for a couple of years, but that kind of got Brexit kind of put an end to that quite quickly. But yeah, that's what I was doing for a while, was just road racing. I think, yeah, Matt, you had something similar.
Yeah. I sort of started road racing when I was second year junior, so when I was like 17, 18. And then started road racing quite a lot in the UK. It was only last year, no, sorry, year before that, where I sort of dipped my toe into Belgian racing. But yeah, it's been predominantly just road racing in the UK. I've been doing some time trialing. But I always sort of wanted to get into ultra cycling. But I thought sort of after like a later date, maybe when I was potentially about 35, 36, I'd then start doing some ultra stuff like RAM. But because of just like road racing just hasn't really kicked off, and because of COVID, there's not a lot of funding in it and everything like that. It's quite hard to sort of keep going. Yeah, like I said, sort of Harry messaged me, and now I've sort of turned my hand to ultra cycling. And that's where I'll continue going. Essentially, I've kind of fallen out of love with road racing. So yeah, I want to sort of continue with the ultra stuff.
Excellent. Great. Well, I know you got something coming up here. Well, you want to explain a little bit what this VIA race is going to be about?
Yeah, for sure. So VIA is sort of a it's an ultra race. It's the first year it's started. So it's the first year for VIA. It's sort of a spin-off of sort of like a lot of other sort of ultra races, but it has a very unique sort of story behind it. So it's sort of following a route by Hannibal back in, I think, about 2,500 years ago, where Hannibal sort of decided to go over to Italy from Spain and invade the Romans essentially. And he decided to take 36 elephants with him, a whole army, and we're basically following that route. In 2024. So it's a really cool story. I was reading about it a bit more sort of earlier today, and it's not just sort of point A to point B. There's a history behind it, which makes it even cooler. So.
Gotcha. Now, is the route set for you, or do you have options that you can kind of do your own navigation to certain points, etc.?
Yeah,
there's a few set points that we have to hit along the way, but apart from that, it's just completely free. So there'll probably be like 2, 3, maybe 4 routes that everyone will end up going between each checkpoint. Apart from
how do you choose which one you take out of interest? Like, how would you decide?
Well, it depends on. So I had to do a lot of the route planning for Transcontinental last year. Well, obviously doing it on my own. But it's a bit of a payoff between whether or not you want to sit on a main road for like 20 hours getting overtaken by trucks every few seconds. But that, I mean, if you're going for speed, that's what you have to pick really. So it'll just be whatever the straightest, flattest road is between whatever 2 points you've got to go through. But then you get more into it. You got to think about you want to kind of follow the rivers between the places. The flood basins and stuff like that. If you follow the rivers, it tends to be flatter, and then you got to think about where the prevailing winds are as well. So it might be better in some cases to go further inland than it is to hug the coast if the coast is particularly windy and it's a headwind. So in some cases it can be better to go like 100 kilometers further, but you'll have a tailwind or a crosswind instead of a headwind.
Okay. Now you're running it for a team, correct?
Yes, yeah.
How does that work on this race? Do you ride together the whole time, or do you kind of split parts of it up?
No. So we'll be racing together as a pair. So it's all self-supported. We don't have a team car or anything like that. So it's not like RAM where you can sort of like you take it in turns.
Right.
It'll be me and him, me and Harry from point A all the way to start to finish essentially. So
interesting. Okay. Now, are there timing stations or spots you have to go through and how does that work on this race?
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, there's point A to point B, and then you have to get like checkpoints along the way. So I think I can't remember exactly how many there are. I think there might be 6 or 7 checkpoints, and it's basically a lot of bridges that you have to sort of go under essentially. And there's sort of like big artifacts essentially along the way. There are 2 refuges as well, so we need to go there. We have to stay there for at least 15 minutes. But with that, you get clean water, you get fresh water, inner tubes, any spares, a shower, everything like that. So I think we'll be staying there a little bit longer than 15 minutes. But yeah, so that's all built up on sort of like volunteers and the organisers as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there'll be checkpoints along the way.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, when we had Christoph Strasser on earlier, he's done and won the Transcontinental twice.
Mhm.
He said that when he had a choice between a shorter route that was mountainous versus a flat route that was longer, he always opted for the longer flat route.
Mhm.
He felt he could do better with that. Of course, sometimes they put those checkpoints in such places that you've got to handle certain mountains, I presume.
Yeah.
How you guys feel about that?
Well, I think when you think about it now, and the race is months off, it can be easy just to go for the flat route because you think it'll be faster. But I found when I've done some of the longer stuff is that I really just want a descent, and I really want to just relax for a little bit and have that kind of recovery. Because when you find you're on the flat for so long, you're just always pushing. You can never have that little bit of recovery.
I agree.
Yeah, so I'll favour the hills as long as it's not crazy mountainous.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll always prefer rolling terrain over flat stuff.
Having lived in flat, windy south or north western Ohio for a good many years, I know. Flat riding makes a good rider out of it because there's no place to stop.
Yep. No rest.
You got every inch is a pedal stroke. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. Now, being self-supported, how do you go? Do you guys take all your food, or do you plan on getting food throughout the route, or how does that work?
Yeah, of course. It's sort of like we can only take so much food. It's 4,000 kilometers in length, and because we'll be going over the Pyrenees, it's going to be a lot of climbing. So it's going to take a long time. So obviously we'll try and take on board sort of as much as we can. But I think we're going to be quite tactical as well because obviously we don't want to weigh ourselves down too much. I've had a look at sort of like the route that we're going to take sort of like for the first half. Obviously that's going to be under review. Sort of like figure out sort of where to change the route, what would be more beneficial. But at the moment it looks like it's going to be 100k sort of basically a false flat going up. So obviously we don't want to carry loads and loads of food with us, especially when we're carrying all of our clothes and everything like that. So but I think we hit Madrid quite quickly. So it might be worth sort of after that 100k, we might be able to just pop into Madrid, where get some food and stock up in Madrid, and just try and find checkpoints along the way, just to be a bit tactical, be a bit more tactical about it, essentially. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's Europe. It's like it's developed Europe. There's always going to be. You're never going to be that far away from somewhere.
Gotcha.
It's just in the. Obviously, you've got to watch out in kind of the more rural parts that stuff closes quite early. So if we ride through the night, we've got to be conscious that we've got to take enough food to survive.
Again, being self-supported, how do you guys handle mechanical issues, etc., on your bikes? You're not going to have a spare bike with you, so.
Yeah, it's a way off, way up of how much you want to take with you. Like I could take a full toolbox full of spares and have everything from a spare spoke to spare tires and everything, but I don't want to carry that around for 4,000 kilometers. So as long as we've got enough stuff that we can, at the very worst, limp to a town or a bike shop or something that can repair it, then that's fine. But ultimately, like if my spoke breaks or something, then I'm not going to carry a spare spoke to try and repair that. It's just kind of a risk that you take. Like lots of stuff could happen. But
I think as well, sort of like I sort of speak for Harry. Harry's quite good at bodging things, so I think if we really need to bodge something, I'm pretty sure Harry will be able to do it. And now, we'll be able to sort of work our way through things. So.
Gotcha. Now, Joanna, do you have any good questions? Being an ultracycle racing person yourself.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because I'll be honest, it's never entered my mind to do something as a team of two. Partly because I wonder if the other person would do as much training as me. But also, secondly, the idea of when you're not, let's just say not the best version of yourself, how you work that dynamic. It's different if you're doing a relay, like a RAM two-man team, but doing what you're doing, Talk to me about those two things. How do you hold each other accountable to training, and how are you predicting things are going to go 3,000 Ks deep when you're sick of the sight of each other? Or maybe you won't be. I don't know.
Well, I kind of have to. I don't really know what's going on in Matt's head most of the time, but I know. I kind of know how my body's going to react to most things on a bike. I kind of lucky enough that I've been able to push myself right to the limit a couple of times before, so I know what I'm going to experience, and from that I can kind of guess what Matt is going to go through. But in terms of us like not hating each other, I've no idea. We rode up to Scotland a couple of weeks ago, and that was like 30 hours we spent next to each other, and it was fine. Like, you got to, obviously there are bits that I'm sure he was annoyed at me and I was annoyed at him, but you just got to let it go. Like, he can ride wherever he wants, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to ride next to me, and we don't have to be talking the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I think also, like, me and Harry we've raced together so much, we've trained together a lot, you know, and it's just like we also have like a lot of respect for each other as well. You know, I respect Harry for what he did at Transcon. Sort of Harry has a respect for what I did with the NC500, and I think sort of like we know how to bounce off of each other a little bit, and we do know that sort of like if one does go quiet, then you know you just do your own thing, sort of thing. And I think that's how we'll work quite well. We sort of know each other relatively well, I'd say, and we're quite good friends as well. So you know, and sort of like we try and pick each other up. Sort of like if it's we've done a couple of rides where not as long, maybe like 250k, and it's like chucking down with rain, everyone's like miserable. You just start singing, you know, and it starts cheering people up. So I think knowing yourself and sort of picking yourself up will also reflect on each other as well. So
but in terms of trusting the other person to train enough, I'm completely hands off. I'm not going to get involved in anything that Matt does. I was the same with NC500, like the physical side. Like, obviously he knows more about his body and his training than I do, and likewise with Matt. For me, I think the ultra stuff, like something that's 3,000-4,000 kilometers long, is not really a factor of training. Like, we're both kind of at the level where, I mean, Matt's a lot stronger than me on like an 3-hour race, but we're both at the level of fitness that we're not going to be able to train much for a 4,000 kilometer.
Hey,
you get like 2 days in, and it's just how much you can suffer.
I just had a message from my son, said he's not getting the live feed. I wonder, is anybody else having a problem out there? I guess you couldn't hear me. I mean, somebody that's watching, please text us.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I showed
let us know.
check mark, so
Yeah, everything looks okay here. I don't know what's going on.
okay.
Hey, guys, I'm just wondering as well, from your perspective, you live in a country which is pretty well renowned for not having the best of weather. So I'm guessing when it comes to the not great conditions, you guys have probably got that dialed in. But climatically, do you expect that you're going to be encountering a lot of different types of weather conditions, or is it because you're going across a very varied terrain, I guess, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think sort of what my plan is sort of building up to it is to acclimatise to the heat, essentially, because I know the heat is a big factor. A heat will, you know, if you have heat stroke, that's it. Your race is over. Like, you're in a lot of trouble. So sort of like I'll do a lot of sort of like turbo sessions indoors, no fan. You know, like the like a painter's suit sort of thing. Just get used to that sort of that heat. And just to try and acclimatise. I'm going to do that probably about a month out, and just sort of get used to that. And I'll obviously with the colds throughout the night, I'm just going to have to take like enough layers with me, essentially. But I think the heat is the main factor. If you're too hot and you overheat, then you're in trouble, you know. So.
And then the contrast to imagine at night, because I'm expecting that when you're in the mountainous areas, it's going to be potentially super hot in the day, but then it could be a big variation of temperature tonight. So,
yeah, I think we need to be smart about what clothes we take. We can't be taking low quality, you know, wind stoppers or anything like that. We need to be pretty mindful of it. If it is going to drop down, then obviously you can use like old school methods. Get a newspaper during the day, chuck a newspaper down your jersey or something like that. But yeah, I think we're quite smart about it when it comes to sort of clothing in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you kind of prepare for something slightly worse than you're expecting, and and it's kind of fine. There was one moment in Transcon last year where the mountains were a lot colder than we thought they were going to be, and I only had an extra jacket and I wasn't going to bring a pair of gloves. That ended up being like my lifesaver. That the only way I was going to get down the mountain. But it just took that.
Wow.
I just chose not to do a massive descent in the middle of the night because it was too cold, and I took some extra rest. So it's just little stuff like that you just got to plan ahead a little bit. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be terrible. It's never going to be like -10 or anything stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And what sort of bikes are you guys riding? I'm assuming road bikes opposed to gravel bikes. Is that right?
I did dabble with the idea of a time trial bike, but Harry said no.
I shut that down immediately.
Oh, I'm on a time trial bike, not.
Yeah, Harry's he's knocked that idea out. So it'll be road bike. So
Will there be GPS tracking for us dot watchers?
Yeah.
Please let us know the link
Yes.
so we can share it with others. All right.
yeah, for sure.
I'm going
And
to be
we-
obsessed already. Like, I already know I'm going to be obsessed by this. As soon as I heard about it, I was like, this just sounds brilliant. I love the historical aspect.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think that's the thing that really gets me excited about adventures, even in my own home country here in New Zealand, but is doing rides, brevet, races that take on some aspect of newness that you maybe wouldn't have thought to learn about otherwise. I mean, are you guys going to find, obviously, well, it actually sounds like you did know quite a bit about the history with Hannibal, but I guess that gives it an added layer of things you can talk about, right? You can Google search things about the route, and then you can, you know, explore that on your ride.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think sort of and to think that the route that we are taking it was taken 2,500 years ago by 36 elephants and a whole army. It's madness.
Mhm.
So it's we're going to be taking on very much the same scenes. We're going to be looking at the same things. It's going to be pretty crazy. So
Yeah, I'll remind Matt of that when we're suffering up the side of a mountain. I was like, 2,500 years ago, some kid
Yeah.
with a bunch of
One of
elephants
the
with no
things I've got
tarmac.
one of my crews doing for me when we go the length of Australia is actually finding out things each day to share each day between the crew and myself about the places we're going through. And I purposely I don't want to know anything about it until we get there, so that when we're, when you're finding it hard or what have you, I'm really looking forward to hearing those kind of quick fire facts. So maybe you guys need to take on board learning some quick fire facts, random facts, maybe about elephants. I'm just suggesting that you can share along the route.
Yeah, I reckon it'll keep things interesting. So
There
I
you
think
go.
Well, this has prompted me to go back and revisit the history of Hannibal.
Same.
And I see one difference. Now, I haven't seen a really good map of what your waypoints are,
okay.
but I'm gathering it's going to force you into the Pyrenees, is it not?
Yes.
Right into the centre.
And as I recall, Hannibal stuck more to the coast rather than to go through the Pyrenees Mountains. He didn't cross the Pyrenees and the Alps.
I think. Let me just have a look. Because I did have it up. So we go from like the south of Spain all the way to the north, and then Pyrenean, Alpine. So we go through the Pyrenees. I'm pretty sure. He didn't. So I think going through the history of it, there's sort of a disagreement as to which route he actually took. More of a coastal route, or more sort of like an inland route.
Mhm.
And I think the route that they've chosen is more of an inland route to make it a bit more harder, basically.
Harder and
A bit more
scenic.
difficult. Yes.
Scenic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, just a real quick question for me. Do you guys take small tents with you, or do you prefer just sleeping out into the open?
No, my plan with ultra cycling as a general rule is that you just ride until you get so tired that you'll be happy sleeping on a bench. And
Okay.
and you have a great few hours at that point.
Love it.
Well, I'm going to cross
I like
bivvy.
your style.
I'm gonna cross emergency bivvy off of my list of things to get. Then, thanks, Harry. Sleeping on the
Mind
bench it is.
you, an emergency bivvy. I'm not going to tell you the story, but I have been adventuring with somebody before where that emergency bivvy actually saved his life. Maybe you can fit in one of those little tiny ones. Just
Well, yeah, that's
I always take a survival blanket.
Yeah.
That's always at the bottom. But yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Lee, anything else?
No, I just want to thank these guys for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
And we will be stay in touch, will you?
Yeah.
Can we have them back on when they finished it?
Sure.
I think that's a great idea.
I want to hear so many stories, mostly about how you guys got on,
And,
but also the ride.
But yeah, you might have to do us one at a time.
why don't you shoot a little video along the way and send it to us?
Exactly.
Please
Yes.
do that.
So-
That'd be so good.
So Harry and I will be filming it. We'll be filming the build up to it as
I
well.
will see that you get the WhatsApp number we use,
Yeah.
so that you just send. We're using WhatsApp. It's so easy to use,
Yep.
and the compression makes the files smaller.
Mhm.
So collect something when you find a place that you can share it.
Of course.
Please do, and we'll use it on the air like we did, at the beginning of this show.
Yep.
And
good.
we'll be sure to be following you. This is so interesting,
Definitely.
particularly the history that's involved.
I'm mad into it. I can't wait to follow you guys. When do you start?
So July 20th is when it starts. So we're going to fly over probably on the 18th, 17th, 18th. Yeah, and then it starts on the 20th, and hopefully we'll be home by the 25th. Hey, Harry.
Love your enthusiasm. Best
I
of
should
luck, guys.
say-
Honestly, you're brilliant.
Thank you, Joanna.
I should say, for the less well informed among us, 4,000 kilometers is about almost 2,500 miles.
Yep.
That's for the less informed among us.
Mhm.
Now, and thank you, Joanne, again for being with us.
Yes.
Hey, we're just going to keep asking you, Joanna.
Yeah, well, there's a problem with that because I'm just looking around. I don't know if you can see here. He's doing no work, mate. Nothing's happening in Benny's bike. He's on his phone this morning.
work and
Wow. Shouldn't he be working on your new bikes?
I'm going to actually show you. It's sitting here. He's now laughing. Can you see behind me the bike? My chapter 2 is somewhere on the wall there, waiting
Oh,
to
look
be
at that.
built.
Nice.
And so he's not short of things to do. He could have been building that beautiful lime green bike as we speak, but he's not. So
well,
I'm going to have to get onto them.
this show is so exciting. How could he do anything else? I mean, look, it's
I
even
have to say, actually,
it's put my
boys,
dog to sleep.
Well, I have to say to you guys, what you're taking on is much more Benny's vibe than supported type racing that I've been doing. So from everybody here at Benny's Bike Shop, we wish you all the very best, and we can't wait to follow you.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you.
Hey,
Yes.
hey, don't go away, people. We'll debrief a little bit when we go off there.
Yep. All right. Let me see if I can find. Go ahead, Lee.
I just say thank everybody for watching, for contributing, and we'll see you all next week with Martin Grubela.
Yes. Let me see if I can find Gregory.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.